This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Books, PD products, science, fashion, and glam talk. From Bollywood to Hollywood, it's Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi, right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. And here's your host, international speaker, educator, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Dr. Afshan Hashmi.
Hello everyone, this is your loving host, best-selling author, radio and TV personality, Dr. Afshan Hashmi, live from her studio in Rockville, Maryland, and this is live meet and greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi on K4HD Radio. And these are my two books. The first one is The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And the second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. For my first book, The Modern Mughal Mentality, I want a documentary to be made. So all those documentary producers, please contact me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. And for my second book, The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, I want a movie or a web series to be made. So all those movie producers as well as web series producers, please contact me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. And I want to say that these two books bring food to the table, so please go and buy these two books. The first one was the Amazon bestseller and hot #1 new release on Amazon. The second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, and when this book came, there was no COVID, and in a very creative way, I have described what bioterrorism is. And and Tailflix has given me a very good evaluation. So the movie can be, or a web series will be very good on about this book. And they compared my book with blockbuster like Contagion and many other blockbuster movies, Hollywood movies. Having said that, folks, I want the sponsorship of this show because this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. Having said that, folks, I will give you a very reasonable price, and you can go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com or www.drafshanhashmi.com. Having said that, folks, now I want to, before I start the program, I want to tell you that yesterday I voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the President of the United States candidate. I didn't feel like voting anyone because I feel that, some of the things which have been done in America is beyond anybody's comprehension. And I wrote on my ballot paper that King Salman or MBS, that it should be sent to King Salman or MBS, Prince MBS of Saudi Arabia, to put my ballot inside the tomb of Rasulullah or Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I want to emphasize here to all Americans who have been droning Rasulullah's Rosa that please don't drone my ballot paper and my ballot. And if you drone it or you try to frame you, I will come after you. And the only thing I want is that my ballot paper should go to MBS, Prince MBS, and Prince and King Salman, and they can go and put it in the Rasulullah's tomb. And that will give me lot of peace, because many of my family members were killed from 2011 to 2015, and still I haven't got answers from people I want the answers of, that why they were killed. Then my ex fiance was killed, and they all my parents, my mother, my father, my younger brother, autistic brother, and my ex fiance and my hubby is down with induced dementia and Parkinson, and we have been caged and beaten up on American soil. So that's why I voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I want that ballot paper to be given to MBS or King Salman and not be droned, or don't try to frame me, otherwise I will come after you. So, having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad leads to multi-sector success stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad management principle business model of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality: New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration: True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So, folks, before I start talking about Jeff Bezos blocked the Washington Post from endorsing a presidential candidate less than 2 weeks before election day. And I got it from NPR News, and here it is. And I like there is so much of disease here, and many people are having neurological symptoms. And as far as I know, Jeff Bezos also had neurological symptoms, and like the previous administration from 2011 to 2015, only people were in disease state and people were caged. And I think he was also caged, because I know that through some sources that he had neurological symptoms. So why a person would endorse a candidate, like I voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he doesn't want to endorse any candidate. So what is the problem? What is the problem? And when people, I go out in Montgomery County, criminals are heavily here. There is no law and order, and this was happening in 2011 to 2015, and then again it started when Biden administration took that, because this caging was stopped during Trump administration. And although I didn't vote for President Trump, but of course, I was very confused what to do. So I voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, so that people can have some sense. I have been teaching people all kinds of dua. I have been working with President Trump and former First Lady Melania Trump and their group for teaching everyone. I was teaching Secret Service, I was teaching FBI how to do these duas, so how to do these prayers. So I know from reliable sources that he had neurological symptoms, and every big CEO, so what does the criminals want? The gangsters they want to kill everyone, American president and everyone, and come like, I know President Biden was also beaten up. I know President Trump was beaten up. I know, like, when President Trump was president, his son, whom I love dearly, the youngest son, Baron Trump, was beaten, and he has taken some of my beatings. So what is going on in America when a presidential son and presidents can be beaten up? Who are we people? So I didn't feel like voting, and I just went and voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I would request the election commissioner to please send my ballot, in to King Salman or MBS, and ask them to put however is their thing, to put it in Rasulullah's Roza. I don't want any droning of Rasulullah's Roza, because droning of Rasulullah's Roza has also taken place, and I was sent photograph of Rasulullah in 2011 to 2015. So this is not going to be acceptable, that what it is. Having said that, folks, now I will go on and I would like President Trump and Madam Kamala Harris to tell us that what is the policy of Muslims. I have been working all through with President Trump, and I would like to know that why I was not invited in a rally to give my thoughts on Muslims, because I was working with him throughout throughout his presidency until now. So, and I am helping both sides of the aisle, President Biden as well as President Trump. So, why, what is the agenda for Muslims and what is the agenda for me? What it is. So I wrote to AG that I want Muslims life matter should be made, and I should be appointed as the Muslim advocate. I have been trying this for a very, very long time. Having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Hello viewers around the globe, this is Dr. Afshan Hashmi, live for her radio show at K4HD and Talk 4 TV show, and I just wanted to request you that please give me sponsorship if you want this show to continue. Having said that, friends, I will see you in another episode of K4HD Radio plus Talk 4 TV show, and if you give me sponsorship, I will give you very reasonable price, and also you will get lot of promotion, as this show is syndicated worldwide to more than 300 million listeners. Cheers and bye bye.
So now I opened Al Ahzab, and this is the study Quran. I want to read little bit from here. A group among them refers to the hypocrites here identified by most as Abd Allah the Ubay and those with him. Yathrib was the name of Medina before Islam. So their call is to all the inhabitants of Medina. There is no stand for you is meant to communicate to the Medinans that there is no way for them to oppose the forces now gathered against them, or that their particular strategy of manning the trench leaves them unduly exposed to attack. Turn back enjoins them to retreat to their houses in the city rather than man the trench on its outskirts. A group sought to leave the hardships of maintaining watch over the trench by claiming that their houses were in need of defense. Before the siege, the same group had argued that it was better to fight the Confederates from within the city. So this is little bit from the Holy Quran, and this is the study Quran. So if you want to read Quran with meaning, I would recommend that. Having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. Oh my God, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for the outbreak of a monstrous infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now. The world is depending on you.
The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, Chapter 1, 1964 to 2018, and this is the sample track, and it is read by Dr. Afshan Nahid Hashmi. In a sprawling bungalow in Potomac, Maryland, USA, lived Dr. Honey Singh, a board-certified internal medicine and family practice physician, along with his beautiful wife, Baby Singh. Baby Singh was a fashionista and was funding women's causes through her Honey Bay Foundation. She had a ladies' book club by the name of Baby's Glam and Glitzy Club, which had many glam and glitzy ladies who were professionals living in Washington, D.C., Potomac, Maryland, Virginia, and even Beverly Hills, California, as well as elites from all of America meeting at her place on the last Wednesday of every month, discussing various aspects of charities they wanted her and Dr. Honey to fund. In this club, there was a wide spectrum of career women. There were doctors, lawyers, actresses, business owners, and models, to name a few. In these book club meetings, members would come prepared after reading a book of a famous woman author, and that author was even invited from any part of the world to give her presentation, followed by a Q&A in this prestigious and elite gathering.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So it says over 200,000 subscribers flee Washington Post after Bezos blocks Harris endorsement. So here it is. The Washington Post has been blocked by a tidal wave of cancellations from digital subscribers and a series of resignations from columnists as the paper grapples with the fallout of owner Jeff Bezos' decision to block an endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris for president. So it is the Washington Post in crisis, and I said it is from NPR. More than 200,000 people had cancelled their digital subscriptions by midday Monday, according to two people at the paper with knowledge of internal matters. Not all cancellations take effect immediately. Still, the figure represents about 8% of the paper's paid circulation of 2.5 million subscribers, which includes print as well. The number of cancellations continued to grow Monday afternoon. A corporate spokesperson declined to comment, citing the Washington Post company's status as a privately held company. It is a colossal number, former Post executive editor Marcus Brochley told NPR. The problem is people don't know why the decision was made. We basically know the decision was made, but we don't know what led to it. Chief executive and publisher Will Leos in Friday explained the decision not to endorse in this year's presidential race or in future elections as a return to the Post roots. It has for years styled itself an independent paper. Few people inside the paper credit that rationale given the timing. However, just days before a neck and neck race between Harris and former President Donald Trump. Former executive editor Marty Baron voiced that skepticism in an interview with NPR's Morning Edition on Monday. If this decision has been made 3 years ago, 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, that would have been fine, Barron said. It's a certain reasonable decision, but this was made within a couple of weeks of the election, and there was no substantive serious deliberation with the editorial board of the paper. It was clearly made for other reasons, not for reasons of high principle. Indeed, in his own opinion piece published by the Post Monday evening, Bezos acknowledged that the timing was not ideal. That was inadequate planning and not some intentional strategy, he wrote. Post reporters have revealed repeated instances of wrongdoing and allegations of illegality by Trump and his associates. The editorial page, which operates separately, has characterized Trump as a threat to the American democratic experiment. Several Post journalists say their relatives are among those canceling subscriptions. The mass cancellation point to the polarization of the times we're living in and the energy people feel about these issues. This gave people a reason to act on this mood. Broadly has publicly acknowledged people not to cancel their post subscriptions in protest. It is a way to send a message to ownership, but it shoots you in the foot if you care about the kind of in-depth quality journalism like the Post produces, he said. There aren't many organizations that can do what the Post does. The range and depth of reporting by the Post journalist is among the best in the world. Even at the rival New York Times, with a much higher circulation level, a significant protest might register in the low thousands. Early this year, Lewis, the Post publisher, had touted the paper net gain of 4,000 subscribers as noteworthy. Three of the top 10 viewed stories on the Post website Sunday were articles written by Post staffers outraged by Bezos' decision. The top one was humor columnist Alexandra Petrie's piece headline, "It has fallen to me, the humor columnist, to endorse Harris for president." More than 174,000 people read it online. Resignations follow Bezos' decision. The decision by Bezos, the billionaire, founder of Amazon, was first reported by NPR on Friday. In the days since, two columnists have resigned from the paper and writers have stepped down from the editorial board. One of those writers, Molly Roberts, warned of the possible consequences of the 11th hour decision to stay quiet rather than publish the editorial endorsing Harris. Donald Trump is not yet a dictator, she wrote in a statement she posted on social media, but the quieter we are, the closer he comes. Another, David Hoffman, accepted a Pulitzer Prize for editorial writing on Thursday, the day before Bezos' decision was made public. Pulitzer judges recognized him for a compelling and well-researched series on new technologies and the tactics authoritarian regimes use to repress dissent in the digital age and how they can be fought. So now, folks, I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad Leads to Multi-Sector Success Stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad Management Principle business model, of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
I believe that the media should be neutral. I'm giving this show K4HD Radio from my company's platform, which is Dr. Afshan Hashmi Consulting Group LLCC, which is a media company, and I am always neutral. I don't take any parts. If people from Democrat Party or Republican Party, any way they can come and they can show their thoughts on it. So why all the media is leaning towards Democratic Party? What is so special about Democratic Party? I am registered as a Republican, but I am a neutral person. One of my friends just registered me as Republican since I came to United States, and this year I went 2-3 times to remove that, but it was not every time office was closed of Board of Elections, so I couldn't take it out. I'm a neutral person, and American politics, I'm sorry to say, it sucks. It has come. I ran away from corruption from India, but now the American politics, what I have seen it from inside and from outside, it sucks. And why so many this big newspapers and all, they are so biased, they have so biased opinion. What is so is special? You should, just why people are canceling the digital subscription. I think Miss Harris, got the Democratic nomination without even representing her, and some of her supporters have bullied me so much, since this Biden administration came. Just see what she did to President Biden had full right to stand in the election, and she pushed him aside. And from back, Michelle Obama and President Obama are working. And 2011 to 2015, I was beaten up, I was caged. I don't know what happened with me, how I am alive, I only know. And today I have that confidence to come on this and talk about it. So I would welcome all those mutilated girls and boys, men or women, anybody, or celebrities like Jeff Bezos and Peter Thiel, and anybody who or Bill Gates. I would welcome them and talk about how did they cope up with this kind of disease state? Because I know most of the American CEOs and American population had neurological symptoms, and President Trump tried his best, and even he was beaten up. Just think, a sitting president is getting beaten up, and I know President Biden was getting beaten up. So, what kind of thing is this, that you just want to take the election, and I was by force, and I was intimidated by the supporters of Miss Kamala Harris, and since she has come in this administration, she has beaten me up. She has done so much bad things to me. But and I was so confused that what I should do, so I voted for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So many voters are confused that what they should do in this kind of American environment. And I'm sorry to say that, we come here for I came from India for my American dream. I did not come to be beaten up on American soil. Having said that, folks, now I would go on a break and will be back soon.
Hello everyone around the globe. This is Dr. Afshan Hashmi and with K4 HD Radio and Talk 4 TV. And here friends, I am live from Maryland in a country club, and I just wanted to say that please give me sponsorship if you want these shows to go on, because it takes lot of effort and money to produce these kind of shows. Having said that, friends, please give me sponsorship, and cheers and bye bye.
For decades, the Washington Post editorials have been a beacon of light, signaling hope to descendants, political prisoners, and the voiceless. Hoffman wrote in a letter Monday explaining his decision to leave the editorial board. When victims of repression were harassed, exiled, imprisoned, and murdered, we made sure the whole world knew the truth. I believe we face a very real threat of autocracy in the candidacy of Donald Trump, Hoffman added to his letter to editorial page editor David Shipley, which was obtained by NPR. NPR I think, a government channel, and it should be neutral. It should not go towards Miss Harris, or it should not go towards President Trump. They should be, media company should be in the middle. I find it untenable and unconscionable that we have lost our voice. My Facebook page was blocked, my computer was messed up. Now the new thing, which these bullies, criminals, these bullies, and most of them are Kamala Harris supporters. They come from India, and I am also from India, and I know I'm known as America's India expert, that how they behave here. They just come. I have heard that planes of people are coming, like it came in Obama administration. Planes of people, hordes of people are coming, and they are taking over, and they are managing people like us who have worked all our life honestly. For 20 years I don't have a job. What explanation will President Biden, Madam Kamala Harris, or President Trump will give me? Like, I invested so much time in this, teaching people. I was not even told that I am going to teach. Otherwise, I could have made tutorials for that. I somehow figured out that this is the thing. So, what kind of system is for Muslims? Just think, if I would have been a Hindu or a Jewish person or a Christian person, the thing would be very different. Now, after 9/11, there was a lot of feeling. I have seen that with my own eyes, how people behave with Muslims. So what qualifications I have? Less. I am PhD. I am categorical course in clinical chemistry as well as regulatory affairs from Johns Hopkins. What qualification do I don't have that I can get a nice decent job? And every time, there are so much of bad stuff going through radio signals, I would hear that, you should work as a prostitute and we will pay you, and fuck, all those kinds of bad language to such an educated person, and I am direct descendant of Prophet Abu Bakr Raziallah Anha, whose daughter Aisha binte Rasul was married to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And Aisha binte Rasul took all the business responsibilities, and I was very inspired by her. And that's why, I want my company to flourish, so that I can give platform to all those mutilated girls like me, who have been mutilated and butchered and beaten up. And just think, my husband, how he is, that he cannot get up off the bed, and home health company is not coming or calling me, and all of a sudden my insurance was cancelled. I don't know what is going on in America, and what is law and order if there is voter intimidation. What is going on in America. So having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. Oh my God, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now. The world is depending on you.
The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, Chapter 1, 1964 to 2018, and this is the sample track, and it is read by Dr. Afshan Nahid Hashmi. In a sprawling bungalow in Potomac, Maryland, USA, lived Dr. Honey Singh, a board-certified internal medicine and family practice physician, along with his beautiful wife, Baby Singh. Baby Singh was a fashionista and was funding women's causes through her Honey Bay Foundation. She had a ladies' book club by the name of Baby's Glam and Glitzy Club, which had many glam and glitzy ladies who were professionals living in Washington, D.C., Potomac, Maryland, Virginia, and even Beverly Hills, California, as well as elites from all of America meeting at her place on the last Wednesday of every month, discussing various aspects of charities they wanted her and Dr. Honey to fund. In this club, there was a wide spectrum of career women. There were doctors, lawyers, actresses, business owners, and models, to name a few. In these book club meetings, members would come prepared after reading a book of a famous woman author, and that author was even invited from any part of the world to give her presentation, followed by a Q&A in this prestigious and elite gathering.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
Hoffman says he intends to remain at the paper, saying he refuses to give up on the post where I have spent 42 years. He writes of being launched on several projects, including the expanded effort to support press freedom around the world. Shipley held a contentious meeting on Monday afternoon with scores of opinion section staffers who posed tough questions to the editorial page chief, including appeals for Bezos to address them. As recently as last week, according to a person present, Shipley said he sought to talk Bezos out of his decision. Shipley added, "I failed." Questions about Bezos' timing and motives. Former columnist Robert Kergan, an editor at large, explained his decision on CNN Friday night to resign from the paper. We are in fact bending the knee to Donald Trump because we are afraid of what he will do. Kagan said nothing that officials from Bezos Blue Origin Aerospace Company met with Trump a few hours after the decision became public. Blue Origin has a multi-billion-dollar contract with NASA. During the Trump administration, Amazon sued the government after alleging it had blocked a $10 billion cloud computing service contract with the Pentagon over the then president's ire about coverage in the Post, which Bezos owns personally. Yet Bezos resolutely supported the staff coverage during the Trump presidency and has not interfered with reporting on his own business interest or personal life. Bezos, I'm not an ideal owner of the Post. Bezos publicly broke his own silence late Monday. In his opinion piece, he characterized his decision to end presidential endorsements as an attempt to avoid a perception of bias and non-independence. He rejected assertions that he was attempting to placate Trump or protect his other business interests. No quid pro quo of any kind is at work here, he wrote, adding that he did not consult or inform any candidate about his decision. Bezos said he did not know about the meeting between Blue Origin executives and Trump on Friday, the same day as the paper announced his decision. I sighed when I found out because I know it would provide ammunition to those who would like to frame this as anything other than a principled decision, he said. He acknowledged that his stake in other companies and their lucrative government contracts complicate things for the Post. When it comes to the appearance of conflict, I am not an ideal owner of the Post, he wrote. I assure that my views here are in fact principled, and I believe my track record as owner of the Post since 2013 backs this up. So I am a neutral journalist, and I would request Jeff Bezos to come on my platform and talk about it and give me sponsorship. I'm a very small company, and I want a sponsorship. How if my husband, my social security was stolen, my money is stolen from the bank, and I'm working on that. My health insurance was disrupted. What kind of criminal are working in this country? What is the law and order situation? So I would request Jeff Bezos to please come on this show, or any of the people, the CEOs who want to talk about it. And I wish, Washington Post could understand they are totally out of touch of reality, that what is happening. I wish they could understand that America is a diseased state and terrorists are coming through various channels, and they are disrupting the fabric of America. I have seen it with my own eyes, and there is lot of voter intimidation. So having said that, folks, I would like to remind you that these are my two books. Please go and buy these books. The first one is The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace, and the second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. These two books were Amazon bestsellers, and I want a movie to be made of the second book, or a web series to be made. And also I want The Modern Mughal Mentality, a documentary to be made. This was Amazon bestseller and hot number one new release, and this was Amazon bestseller. And I want the people to sponsorship my show, and this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. Having said that, folks, cheers and bye bye, and see you in next episode of Meet and Greet on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time. Bye bye.
You've been listening to Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in live right here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Would you love exposure to your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And remember, if you miss any part of this show or want to hear it again, find our featured show on iHeartRadio or YouTube, where all past episodes are available on demand 24/7. See you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on K4HD and Talk4 TV.